Right now? Good morning, everyone. Welcome.
You're still on the red.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Village of Ruidoso Workshop Meeting. It is June the 3rd, 2025, 8 a.m. And if you'll stand with me, we'll have a moment of silence and the pledge.
We thank you, God, for the moisture. Just keep it a slow, steady throughout this season.
Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Hopefully everybody's sinuses are improving. I know my attitude's improving. With the rain, it's been great. Can we get a roll call, please, ma'am?
Mayor Crawford?
Here?
Counselor Eby?
Here.
Counselor Letterman? Here. Counselor Salas?
Here.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor
Here.
Corey?
Here.
Counselor Hooker is absent. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We'll go ahead and move into the agenda items. Discussion on adoption of Resolution 2025-18, a resolution supporting a public-private economic development Main Street project for fiscal year 2025-2026. Morning, Eddie. And Mr. Duckworth.
Good morning, Mayor, Council.
Morning.
We've had Tim join RMA not too long ago, and since then, he's really done a great job helping us move forward with the events, with this community development, reaching out to all the businesses, walking the streets, and just being a great advocate for the village. So we are moving forward with the resolution supporting the public-private economic development for Main Street project for fiscal year 2025-2026.
And it was an increase this year, which is with, according to the Main Street agreement,
How much is it, Eddie?
46.
46,000, Councilor Corey.
It's on item number 2, Counselor
Yeah,
Corey.
this first one is going to be
Okay.
the resolution, the next one will be the agreement. Does anybody have any questions?
Eddie, Tim, are the Midtown merchants paying dues, or how does that work?
No, it's free. Once you're part of the Midtown District, you're automatically in.
Okay.
So there is no due.
There have been discussions before, to
Yeah.
be involved or whatever,
Right.
and it's never gone past that.
Well, I found that coming from McKinney, where it's a historic, huge square, Main Street, you don't get a lot of participation if you start asking for money.
Start having fees.
Right. So I think just making sure that everyone is a part of the same team without having those dues, I think we'll get more participation on that.
And hopefully they will.
And Mayor, I did submit a correction, not necessarily correction, but suggestion of changing downtown in the third sentence, downtown to midtown.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Since we are dealing with the midtown, I don't ever recall a downtown Ruidoso. I mean, Gateway, Skylane,
Only just to say,
Midtown.
I'm going downtown.
So, I mean, just for the resolution, and this is the Midtown Association,
That's correct.
so.
Okay.
So that, one more thing, so that's, we pay half and then we get state money as well? How does that work?
Through the Main Street Solution or Main Street Initiative or whatever that opens us up to other funding sources or whatever, but it's primarily to get and ours hasn't been that way, but you remember years past, Main Streets were just dying, everything was moving to the edges. This was a way to revitalize it. So over the years, we've brought it in, and we finally have gotten traction to get the businesses involved with their own self-promotion and inclusion and cohesiveness and all of those things. So they do get some funding, but most of the way it's set up is we're kind of like the starter funding and support. And then they do functions, they do different things to raise funding for their own money. Is there anything else I'm missing, Ron?
Mayor and council, we also have the opportunity for grants. We
Yeah.
can do joint grant applications and be able to fund the Midtown Association. But as the mayor stated, we are the sponsor. And then the group will, fundraisers, raise money for that, so different events.
So this is basically Tim's salary?
Well, part of it. Yeah. And then he has a board, which the president is Chris
Setheimer.
Setheimer, and he's got a pretty good board active. The boards have gotten really better over the years, more active, and after we had a few little issues, they've really started paying attention to how the run. So, I mean, for really honestly, the first time in a long time, I think that we're making progress. So,
Yeah.
and then just getting people on the same page, because I had a business down there for a long time, it wasn't cohesive, it was adversarial, everyone, and the attitude seems to be that people are working together now. So, anything to add, Tim?
Yeah, we've got a lot of good stuff coming up. I know I was on the radio the other day, and I did miss a few things. Sorry about that. We do got some, the mixers, we got quarterly mixers coming up. We've got Halloween coming up, and we're getting ready to start the committee meetings on those. It's going to be probably the best we've ever had. With that, I'm also working with other nonprofits for next spring to do some good, fun stuff.
And Bruidoso?
Bruidoso is definitely coming up. We've got a lot of people already buying tickets. I think I got 3 just over the night. So that's fantastic. And we've got a lot of different wineries and New Mexico craft beer makers, along with some good food vendors. One of them is Crab Kings, so it's a lot of seafood stuff out of El Paso. So I'm really excited about that. And most of the food vendors we have they go with beer and wine. So that's going to be perfect.
Tim?
Mayor and Councilor Letterman, just some clarification. So the 46,000 is supporting the Main Street designation and to have RMA promote the activities. So RMA has the contract with Tim.
Okay.
So we don't have an employment contract with Tim.
No, we're not
You're
paying.
right,
No.
right.
No, he works directly for them. That's just our seed money that we
Yes.
put in every year. And it went up from what, 39?
35 to
35 to 46 this year.
46, I
Yep.
thought it was more. And that, Judy, that money comes out of lodger's tax or
No.
general fund?
Yes,
Okay,
So I'm basically a contractor.
yep.
right.
And then I know he's helping us a lot. Anytime we have downtown functions, midtown. I just said downtown.
You did. And I ignored that, so.
He's never heard it called downtown, I just said it twice. Helping us a lot to just get, activity, communication, and some of, being down there, I know you can print it, you can do whatever you want to, but unless you go in, you talk to them, whatever, they're not involved. And, I know we've had some, businesses that have suffered during, the fire and the floods. Most seem to be rallying, coming back, and understanding how the village's marketing plan benefits them and what it is and what it's not. So we appreciate Tim, and then also he's working with the New Mexico Municipal League that's coming up, making sure that we can keep our businesses open so that they can hopefully take advantage of some traffic we're going to push down there.
He's also been steering up, heading up the volunteer for exterior environment too, helping us with that.
So that one would be the resolution supporting it. Item number 2 would be the approval of the agreement in the 46,000.
What about 1 on consent and 2 on regular?
Okay,
That works.
okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
You both.
Thank you.
You gonna bring your new lid?
He has it, I think he has it.
I thought it was a fashion statement.
Well, I was told I looked like Smokey Bear and
Well, he came in the radio station, and I said, "Oh my God, is that Indiana Jones or Smokey Bear?" No, it looks great.
I know. I'm gonna wear it, but
Yeah,
yeah.
you might become a new.
I think Archie, already, it's his
yeah.
chew toy for Archie already.
Love it.
Thank you. Eddie.
Thank you, guys. Item number 3, discussion on second renewal of property management agreement with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Enchanted Lands Realtors for property management at 603 and 1114 Meacham Drive, Ruidoso, New Mexico. So we'll have,
We'll have
Haley-
mayor and council, we'll have Kylie here, Kylie Berry. Whenever the original RFP went out, it was for 4 years. The village, we elected to do a 3-year contract, so we have 1 year remaining, that's what this is. Also, Kylie will be here to give an update, any information that the council wants to ask her, and also she has a program that the company she works for is trying to implement with renters on like first-time home buying, all that information, so Kylie will be here to explain all that, so.
So this, Ron, originally went out for bid?
Yes, Mayor Crawford, Council Corey, it was an RFP that went out, yes. Yeah.
we had one,
Yeah, they were the only ones that responded,
That responded.
Yes.
And where are we at 603? Are people starting to move in?
no.
Oh, no, we're still,
Yeah, just pick that.
right now, the only one I think moving in is P and M is probably the only one that's.
E&M's holding us up. They had all their engineers quit again. Go ahead, buddy.
Mayor and Council, Councilor Corey. So right now, we're actually done trenching. They're finishing most of the utilities and pulling all of the conduit. We're following them. Well, not us, but the other utilities are following them. We're hoping in about 2.5, 3 weeks, we should be done with pulling most of those utilities. And then once that's done, we'll be able to come in. They'll do the landscaping. Once the landscaping is done, then we'll do the fencing. And that should be complete.
And the road.
And then the entrance to the road.
Millings and all
And
that.
millings on that.
Is Berkshire accepting applications right
Yes.
now?
Yes.
They currently have a wait list of, what did she say? They have a significant wait list.
How many?
40? 40.
40?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
It shouldn't be September 1. Our goal is honestly, middle of July.
well, we haven't hit monsoon yet, so.
And it was a muddy
And
mess
they're
over there.
predicting
It-
above normal. And
Yeah, Ron has to tell me every time I go through because NMDOT gives him a call and says, where's all the mud coming from? So.
So I did have a question, because I don't remember it from Meacham Meadows on item 14 of both agreements. It has it to be determined on the owner's obligation of a deposit, reserve deposit. I don't remember doing that at Meacham Meadows. Do you?
Mayor Crawford, Councilor Salas, I believe, yes, that when the tenants, they do pay a
Yeah,
deposit.
they pay a deposit.
Yeah.
I know we dropped it. And then we were also breaking it into
Yeah, but we'll,
threes or something.
Well, help me understand how it's read, because upon signing of this agreement, owner shall remit to the broker the sum of to be determined as a reserve. Owner shall maintain the reserve. So should it be rentee or
What are
leasing?
we looking?
On number 14.
On the wrong one. Which one?
No,
you
it's on both of them.
Property management agreement?
Counselors,
Yeah, property
Salas and Mayor Crawford, that could pertain to our escrow account that we hold with Berkshire Hathaway. So each month, after we get the rental statement, they keep some monies on reserve at their location. And some of the expenses that come out are like repairs and maintenance on some of the property. So I don't know if that's what they're talking as the reserve.
Okay, so it's more of an escrow account that they're pulling out of the amount of rent
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they're
and then, and I'm not exactly sure what the percentage is, but they keep so much on hand, especially out of 1114. It ranges anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 a month.
Okay, because somewhere I saw 8% withholding. That might be earlier up in here.
And Mayor and Council, if there's any type of maintenance that needs to be done, what they'll do is they have that reserve and they'll handle it. We won't have to pay up front for it. It'll come out and then they'll send a statement on that, so,
What about the grounds?
Same thing.
yeah.
As far as, well, they're supposed to make sure that it's kept neat and clean. That was one reason we went with the storage buildings on 603 was because there was no place for the kids to put their stuff. But we drive through there all the time, and that's one of the conversations we've been having is we'll notice pieces of this loose or roof, and we're always calling, but we shouldn't be up to me driving by or Ron driving by.
No, it's,
And so we've got that handled. We had one that was settling the front one on the left was settling. And so we had them go over there and that's what we just call, they go over, they send somebody, they leveled it up and it comes out of those funds.
and Mayor and Council, we've been working with HomeSpot. They've been very gracious to visit the site and they have the technicians there that can do the job. And before we had somebody else trying to do it and it wasn't leveling correctly. So Mike and Levi have made arrangements. They've been going over and working on doing some maintenance on the 1114.
One other thing, the trash from the dollar store with the boxes, I don't know what's going on. I'm sure it's the wind, but boy, in the windy season, there are boxes everywhere. And of course, this was before we put the fence in, but the boxes along the Lynx Trail, and I know that T-Bone and his guys have gone and picked them up, but that's ridiculous.
Well, hopefully the fencing will cut that.
But it's gonna, it won't go to the Lynx, but
It'll be
it'll
on the
just stay
property.
right there.
T-Bone, have we talked to management over there about keeping that up?
Mr. Mayor, I've talked with, code enforcement, and they've talked to, Dollar General.
Okay, we just we'll touch base with that on that again.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I haven't noticed that.
So Ron, you said she'll be at the meeting next week?
Yes. Yeah, she'll be presenting. This will be a regular item, so.
Okay.
And
Yep.
you can ask any questions, like how many people for sure,
Yeah.
vetting processes. those
Just
kind of
the inspections, the maintenance, we want to ask all of that, so.
So Ron, since this is workforce housing, if you could kind of give us a snapshot of what type of profession people are working in that are applying or living in the units now, whether they be medical, hospitality, retail, and so on. So that way we could say, this is the workforce housing that is being, and this is what's supporting our community.
Right.
That's
Okay.
good.
Yep.
So get statistics on who's using.
I know we have at least 3 employees there from the village. I think so, but,
Okay,
okay.
The other thing, Mayor, was on the prospective leases, the rent rate. And again, it's to be determined. Will we have a sheet or some information on what they're charging?
yeah, the rent's already determined. It's
Right.
fixed, but the to be determined what we're putting in, we could ask what that amount is. If
Yeah.
it's 8% or whatever. 'Cause Judy said she thinks it's around $2,000 a month.
And so we can get you the percentage back, Mayor, but we had a conversation 2 weeks ago with Kylie where we fixed the 2 bedrooms at roughly $900. The 3 bedrooms are going to be
12.
depending on the
12, that's
qualification,
what
like
I
12.
remember.
So 11 to 12.
Because I'm getting that question quite often, and it's like, I think it's this, but,
Those have been fixed. We had that
Right.
conversation 2 weeks
and
ago.
we don't have a CPI increment as we move forward, or is that?
So as of right
Set
now, we do not
for-
have a CPI increase. I'll just tell you from my personal opinion, I mean, from ours, if we had the same CPI increase that we have at 3.5% versus what the village does for employees, that would far outpace what we do
Right,
for
right.
locals. So we haven't included the CPI, but we can look at that if that's something the direction of the council would like to do.
Okay.
So to raise the rent?
Consumer
Because
price
we're going to be
index.
raising our water rates this summer.
Yeah.
And
Well,
does
they
that?
pay their water rates.
Yeah, while it's included in that $900.
No, it's not.
No.
No?
So I pay my
okay.
own bills and, yes,
So they're
everything is
metered,
metered
okay.
They're all
separately.
metered.
They
That
have to get
answered
their
that
own
question.
utilities and all that. They pay those.
That is solely rent.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's just the rent.
okay.
And we can look at those, their annual contracts, as long as they're in good standing,
Right.
they roll over. But we wanted to keep them with our funding that we have set in there. That's, we're at a percentage where we do have excess profit that we then set aside for R&R, repair, replacement, and then upkeep. And that's the main thing, is we want to keep them in good shape. And then with the walkthroughs, that's one of the things I want to find out is how often do we do an inspection inside the home?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And just to make sure that they are abiding. And is it just when their lease is up?
It's usually only when the lease is up, Mayor. However, I think one of the issues we've discovered since we've been over at 1114 is that there probably needs to be another inspection, just to make sure that we're keeping up with the property as a whole. So we're going to have that discussion and advocate for that.
But we could look at, after a certain period of these things, the lease is rolling over, that if it is justified to keep up with costs and whatever, that we do have a small incremental increase. But the goal is to give people a place to live, affordable, clean, safe, and then hopefully they can move to another area. But I'm interested in their program that Berkshire's looking at on how, I think it is to educate, to get people in a position to purchase homes, not ours, but.
Rent to buy, that's, yes, sir.
And Mayor and Council, we're also, we visit with the mayor too, trying to get some sort of storage units over there for each location
And that was
also.
another deal. We
That was a
should've
great
thought
idea
of
that.
1114.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Dr. Jackson, whenever on 603, that was a great idea, is trying, 'cause just when I walk the links, there is some stuff there, and try to,
Just
we
kids'
might,
toys, there's no place to put them, and
over the rack or on
Yeah.
the fence or on the railings. I mean, they're just about everywhere.
yeah, so.
but it does look pretty good. If you haven't, I drive through there once a week or so, just kind of check it out. Okay, so y'all want that on regular?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 4, discussion on the award of RFP 2025-010P to John Shoemaker and Associates, Inc. for hydrogeological water supply and water rights consultant services. Hi, Jackie.
Morning.
Morning, Adam.
Good morning, Mayor. So this is the RFP we went out for hydrological survey or services with John Shoemaker and Associates. We are currently using them. John Shoemaker was the responsive bid or responsive RFP.
That's Roger Peary, for some of you that know Roger. Okay, does anybody have any questions on it?
Consent.
Consent.
I would say.
Good job, Jackie. She's all over that. And item number 2 is the services award for the hydrological water supply and water rights, RFP 2025-10P, John Shoemaker and Associates, Inc. So that one you want on regular or?
Regular, yes, with it being the agreement.
Okay. And then if we can, I know we had talked about just getting us an update, are we using any of, we got all the water accessible at our diversion point for the Cree Meadows water rights that we finally own? If we'll get an update on that.
So they are ours now?
They're ours.
Asked me the other day.
Yes, they're ours.
We own
And
them.
if you're getting any calls like I'm getting them, everybody's wanting to know, but that's a private entity there. And they, I mean, I just have rumors, I don't know. And what they're gonna do, but they still have about 70 acre feet of water that they own. And so we'll have to see what they're doing.
Yeah, and we'd like to purchase those, so.
Mayor, could we also have Jackie talk about the water, how our tanks are doing and.
Sure,
Because
or-
people have been very
Randy could do
concerned.
that.
Yeah.
Randy can
Oh,
do that.
Randy, I'm sorry.
And
Randy.
Mayor and Council and Councilor Letterman, we have under the manager's report, we're gonna have a full,
Okay, great.
update on that with even Roger's gonna be here.
Yep. So
And I'm
we're
trying to
gonna
get
go-
Maria also.
Maria, our attorney.
May get her on Zoom, and she can explain the Cree Meadows. She did give an explanation on that. It's a little complicated, so.
But I just want to know, are we actually tapping into them or not?
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to have a presentation on council, and Roger and Randy will be presenting on the wells and the tanks.
Okay, wonderful.
And where were the diversion points? I mean, I was pushing for Hollywood, but
It's going
It's
to be,
not.
it's going to be at high school, wasn't
high
it?
school,
Let me-
none of it from Cherokee.
No, it was at high school well.
I believe it was just high school.
That was going to be the diversion
How's
point.
the water quality at that well? 'Cause yours-
It's hard.
It's hard.
Over there's hard, but I
But
thought,
they mix it, they blend it, so.
Oh, okay.
and what they did is, that was the whole point, we couldn't get closer to the river on the diversion point. They wanted it further away, that's why we tied it in at high school. Excuse me.
And Randy, if we can also get an update on Grindstone.
The
Levels,
the levels, the tank, the plant.
and we're getting really close on the diversion. Over there, it's looking really good. If you haven't been up there, it's looking big. But it's looking pretty good. So we should be, I'm sorry, because Eagle Creek, we've got our desander and everything back in operation and it's working. So we should be, when flows are sufficient, be able to take some water into Alto, right? Yeah, there's just no flow. Yeah, there's just not even flow. If you haven't been up there, it's pretty sad.
Well, and that people look at Alto Lake, they look at the Grindstone, and then they're hearing stories about Cloudcroft and eastern New Mexico, and we're all running out of water, so that's why I would like a good update, so.
And we talk about it all the
I know
time.
you do.
We can put it back out there, but
And we can talk about the redundancy we have too,
Yep.
as far as the interconnected
Yeah,
systems and stuff like that
The
also.
wells are producing well.
yeah.
I mean, they could produce everything that we're not getting from surface, but.
But you're right. I mean, the Ute Lake pipeline, or the Ute pipeline's been held up again. It was the Pepper Chub, and now then it's PFAS, and now it's something else. So I don't know what's gonna happen with Lovington, Clovis, even Logan. And Logan's, their mayor's the one that was for it, and then he filed a lawsuit against it, so I don't know. And then we might touch base on the PFAS lawsuit.
Okay, I can see what Gino's schedule is.
Yeah, see where we're at on that. You know, we signed on to that to start doing some studies, and there's a time limit in about a year that it expires. We want to make sure, but that's part of it, is that they do testing.
Is that minerals?
No, it's PFAS is the forever chemicals that were in fire retardant. It's pretty much in everything. And so we, with everything we've had here, we don't know what we have. So we just want to find out. We've never been told to test for it. But I can tell you, James Kenney, the Secretary of Environmental, that he won some kind of a deal where it's going to be testing, and that's one reason the municipal league really pushed for additional funding from Water Trust Board to go into wastewater treatment plants. And so we want to get some funding, so whatever we've got to do to upgrade our filtration systems on water or whatever. Have you ever seen anything, Randy?
No, we did the UCMR
UCMR?
fund for PFAS and lithium, and all the results came back good. One thing I wanted to mention is, I'm working with NMED, they have a program where they're funding PFAS testing. That's gonna be starting with, Daniel E. Stevens, they're gonna be coming out. That's probably gonna start within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And it's at no cost to us.
Yeah.
That's nice, that's good.
I'm working with Andy, from NMED on the PFAS.
Okay.
And if you guys remember right after the fire, the NMED made us test for all that stuff just because of the heat of the fire and the pipes and stuff like that, and everything's come back
Good.
good.
And we did the sanitary survey conference, a month ago? I don't remember. And, things looked really good. Our guys were super impressive. And, Joe Savage is retiring. Yeah, Pajacqua was there.
Yeah, he retired
Yeah,
already,
he retired,
right?
he was there.
Yeah.
And he was a lot less scary. Yeah, those guys used to rip us a new
Oh,
one
man,
every time
they-
they were in town. So great job again.
Yeah.
But, as we have time, just so everybody understands, and we've put it it's on the website. We may talk a little bit about it in the next Insider, and then we'll talk about it on the radio, but, it is highly dry, we all know. But we've done a lot of work over the years on keeping our wells good, the protection on everything, on knowing our assets. So, we're pretty secure. We just don't want to waste anything.
And the line replacement. Thanks for the voters that
Yep.
continue with the bonds to replace water lines, brought the leakage down significantly.
great.
Well, the leakage always surprises me that it's still significant. They're saying what is an average municipal line leaks 30%?
Yeah, minimum 30%.
Yeah, at least 30. And up here, it was more than that. Even with all the repairs, we're still showing significant leakage. Because by the time we get these fixed, the ones that we're holding start to deteriorate. So hopefully we'll get through that cycle in another lifetime. Of course, Adam won't be here and Adam won't care.
Yeah, and Adam and his staff, they worked at the line there at the school, right in the school property, and they finally recapped that thing, and we'll find
Ducks are
out.
very upset, by the way.
Did you finally get it done?
We're gonna find out where that's gonna go.
We finally capped it off where it didn't blow out on the other side.
Other
so
side.
It's a,
And Rifle might have some of that history also, where there was they thought maybe there was for,
it's an old irrigation.
old irrigation line,
Oh, yeah.
and they just can't figure it out.
Somebody had to turn it on.
They
They
shut,
open it up to drain because that creates a little stem that's in the pump room. And they open up that, and that's how they would drain the water in the spring, is open that back up and then pump all the water up to the top of the hill. There was
But
two.
was this last leak, was there a broken pipe?
So the first one we found that was creating the
Lake.
Lake Sanchez right there.
Yeah, Lake Sanchez.
It was a wetland, but it wasn't natural wetland.
So when we dug it up, the pipe was already cut. There's a piece of pipe that was laying beside the pipe that was coming out, and it was flowing about a quarter full. Well, when we capped it, it had pressure behind it, so somebody had to turn something on at some time. So when we capped it off, of course, it blew out further up. When we dug that up, they had a sewer pipe with little rubber CT adapters on there, so maybe when they built the school, they broke it thinking it was a sewer line and tried to fix it, and so it's been off. Something got turned on, whether it was on our mains, maybe a valve started leaking through. I mean,
It had to, because if you recall, before Sierra Vista was built, there used to be the track and the football field there. And then where the baseball field is now was a baseball field with restroom buildings. Do you remember that? And they had to provide water to that area out
That may
there.
have been it.
But all that was all bog too. 'Cause
Yeah.
there were cattails
Oh,
all
yeah.
through there.
wow.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I've trying to multitask.
That's all right.
Okay, now we'll do, number six, joint funding agreement, number 25, RGJFA 23 with the United States Department of Interior, United States Geological Survey, USGS, for the operation of USGS stream flow and precipitation gauges with the village cost share of $56,364.00.
And I'm sorry, Mayor, we jumped number 5, which I'm assuming that'll be regular. It's
No.
it's the agreement.
Yeah, we had.
I've got regular on it.
Oh, okay.
Did we not say regular?
We did.
Okay,
We made one consent, the other regular, because
right,
Right.
okay.
Mayor, Council, this is a joint funding agreement, number 25 RGJFA 23 with the United States Department of the Interior, which is USGS, for the operation of USGS stream flow and precipitation gauges. Our half is the $56,364.
So if, and it's a big if feds don't fund this anymore, how much, is that pretty?
100 grand, 112 grand.
Okay, so it's just, we do half of it.
Well, and it's hard for me to believe they're gonna cut it. I think that it's under review, but we get a lot of information off of this stuff.
And it helps them out too, the
Yeah.
Forest Service as well.
Yes. So they are the ones that keep track of, they also put cameras after the floods
Uh-huh.
so that we can keep track of the floods when they're
Monitor.
happening.
So that comes out of this as well?
Yes.
Okay.
But don't we pay for Buck Mountain the full amount? For some reason, I thought
I think Buck Mountain was a separate one from this.
Okay.
That's why it was the full amount. These ones
Okay.
are just actually in the stream beds, the Upper Eagle Creek, Rio Ruidoso.
consent.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Tone it down, Jackie.
I'm sorry?
I just tone it down a little bit. You're little, she's getting there. She'll be putting on a show before long. Number 7.
Mayor, council, this is our renewal contract for legal service with a gentleman to my left here.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why you got the Kleenex?
Gentlemen,
I thought there were
I thought he was
tears
going to
in
have to
his
go
eyes. I
up and
wasn't
on the microphone, but this is the annual renewal for Zach Cook.
Mr. Cook, do you have anything to say?
Well, I say we break for executive session. I got a list. I got that spiral notebook out that I got on him, and maybe that might determine some decision-making here.
Anybody?
consent.
I recommend regular because of the amount.
Okay. All righty. Item number 8, discussion on first renewal agreement, IFB number 2024-009B with Universal Waste System for vegetative waste disposal. Good morning, Jerry. Hard to see you out and about. Instead, I just see his feet.
Mayor, council, this is our, where we dump our pine needles and brush and everything. We just have to go do this every year. This is the way we did the contract,
Right.
just to renew it. It's working good, everything's good for us. They actually haven't even charged us, excuse me, any extra for the bigger logs or nothing yet.
Okay.
They work well with us.
Yeah.
Jerry, what are all the logs stacked up in the
That's
White Mountain?
where we take it for the
Public.
town to get firewood and stuff.
Okay, is that our land or is that
No.
school?
Well, where we did have it was a school, I think. Now,
I asked them to move it over
now
because
we moved it.
the people at the dog park, the chainsaws running there next to the fence, so.
Was spooking the dogs.
Well, it just was so loud you couldn't even talk. So they moved it over there behind the dumpsters, which that is school property. They agreed.
Okay.
We talked to,
We spoke
Gordon.
to Becca and Gordy, and
Okay. I
And so-
was just curious.
We stick that over there, and then he still puts the mulch over there by the dog park.
They do, yes, sir, they do a lot of cutting and stuff there, so it was getting to be, I guess, a problem. So that's why we moved it.
And I did have a question to Ron, what the CPI adjustment would be, so by next week.
I
if you
have
could-
that, Mayor Crawford, Counselor Salas, they had a CPI originally of 5.2%, and we were able to get it to 2.5? 2.5 is the CPI rate that,
Counselor Salas, according to the agreement, we're supposed to go back to the previous year of the CPI, which is what we did with the renewal that we did with Lincoln County, who contracts with Universal Solid Waste. So if we go back to the previous year, it's 2.5% from a year ago. His 5.2, he went straight to the industry-specific for garbage.
Off the computer.
And so, but the overall CPI for the prior year is 2.5. So,
Okay.
according to our agreement, it looks to be the overall, but I'll let Zach read it and see if he comes to the same conclusion I do. So,
Okay. Where do you want this one? 550,000 is our estimated budget.
Regular.
If nothing else, just to remind people that there are logs over there and that there is mulch.
Yeah, I forgot about the mold.
Okay.
T-Bone, don't forget about it.
Yeah, I know that.
He forgets about spraying my weeds, but he don't forget.
Oh, you don't forget about- Yikes, T-Bone. I wouldn't take that, bro.
there.
Spray your own weeds, T-Bone, is what I would have told Jeff.
All right, thank you, folks. Appreciate it, Jerry.
thank you, Jerry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry.
Yes.
We'll go back to the,
Is it consent?
Regular item.
no, it's going to be regular.
And Mayor and Council, we'll work with Zach on that, on the agreement and amendment, and add that CPI number to the amendment, so it's captured on there, so.
Okay. So under consent regular items, we have the approval of governing body minutes from May 13th, 16th, and June 3rd. We'll have the request to have a public hearing on July 8th for ordinance 2025-4, architectural design standards, and I believe this is to do with metal buildings, metal siding. You know, they've got some new material, all this kind of stuff. So Stephanie and Alex, right? Okay. Public input, mayoral reports and presentation, new employees and promotions. Thank the good Lord we're getting some good ones. Then we'll have an update from Johnny Montoya. I know that there's a little sticky wicket we've got going on with them and P&M. You know, with the boring that hitting electrical services and things like that. So we're going to have that addressed. Presentation on Coalition of Sustainable Community. Ken Hughes, what's this one?
Mayor, this is the gentleman, he worked at DFA years ago. He was the planner for the state. He
Oh,
is
yeah,
part
yeah.
of the
I'm
solar,
sorry.
and he's a gentleman that, when you were
Yes.
testifying to the legislature on the new solar funding, he thought you're the only one that got it, so he.
Yeah, I
he
remember,
wanted
I'm
to-
sorry.
And he's a really
And I
great,
agreed to this and I couldn't remember.
he also worked at MNERD whenever we received that additional funds for the solar, when we did a feasibility study at the wastewater treatment plant, he was part of that too, so.
Okay, yeah. And then forestry service restrictions, closures, Amanda, Jonathan, and y'all seen it, everybody's wanting to know why the mayor doesn't close the forest. And so we've tried to let them know that that's not our jurisdiction. And
Who
so-
does make that?
Amanda, well, the forestry. And
it
they're in
comes-
level 2, and when we were out on the fire, I don't see the chief here, they said that we're not at the metrics, we're not in, what was the term?
Critical?
No, past that. But it was like critical, but he used a different term. He said we weren't there. I said, oh my gosh, what do we got to do to get, I mean.
Exactly.
And so, but we got a little moisture. We're nowhere near out of the woods yet. So, but just to give her another stage to talk about, and got her, she's supposed to be going on a Keithley show to try to get people to understand. And you can put all the signs you want up, but people are still, and there's forest fire, no campfires, no nothing, and they still do it. Proclamation declaring June 27th through the 29th Red Raider Weekend. We'll do that. They're having a big day.
Softball.
What's that?
Softball, they're going to the finals.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Oh, that was a good game.
Guns up.
Yeah.
Mayor, do you want me to add Red Raiders weekend or something about Texas Tech in there somewhere?
Yeah, Texas Tech. Yeah, that would probably. And they're having a big day in town. If y'all remember, they brought up the fish fry and the chicken? Chicken, and did a big feed up here right after the fire. They pulled up to the convention center and fed I don't know how many people for a couple of days and brought us different things and helped with some funding and some other things that were brought to town. Anyway, they're honoring them at the racetrack, so we're going to have their big alum association in, so we're going to do them. Boards and commissions, we'll talk about Dhruv Bhatia, Elevate Hotel, y'all know that. We need to get a thank you something or other for Lori Robinson. She served, was it 5 years or 3? And so we've got Dhruv on there. We still have a couple open spots on Parks and Rec, and we have one on Wingfield that we need to fill. So keep your feelers out. I've had people in the past that have mentioned it, and for the life of me, I cannot find their application. I remember who they were. I don't think they gave me an application. They just said, we do it, and I spaced it. So we'll look at Dhruv. Then we'll have the village manager's report. We'll have a water system update. Councilor Lutterman. Project road paving, we'll be talking about that because we're due to start pretty quick on Wingfield, those areas over here.
Started on Innsbrook already, yes. On
Innsbrook's
Metz.
already started on Metz and Gabaldon, Grenoble. And then we've been backed up on Innsbrook because of the rain that we had the other day, came in and washed my set up. So we talked to JP, those guys working on it. They said it backed it up about 2 weeks. Yeah, so anyway, we're pushing that. Then we're gonna have an update on gross receipts tax. We just want everybody to understand fundamentally and exactly that we have been in a big recovery process. We're still amazed, the legislators are amazed. I get calls all the time because, we had lobbied for them to make up the difference. And they're like, wow. And so they have, I don't know if y'all watched the governor's town hall in Las Vegas the other night.
Was it a hot meeting?
It started out good, but boy, she is a master politician, that she calmed them all down, but they're 3 years in and nowhere. They're still hauling water, and what they agreed to do is let the state take over their water system, and that's what I got out of it before I turned it off, because they can't get it done.
But didn't the feds
Yep.
send them $90 million?
Nope.
Oh, they did.
The state gave them 90 million. The feds have spent $4 billion.
So 90 million, and instead of delving it out to the projects, they put it in the bank.
Gaining 4.5% interest to pay for employees.
That was illegal.
It is. So they're handling that. And so, good or bad, they're trying to make the village, here's the poster child for this. And we've talked in the past with the mayor, the other one resigned, and then you've got Romero. What's his first name?
God, I always forget his name, Mayor Romero, yes.
And so they're trying to get
I think it's David Romero.
David, yes. Trying to get a foothold there on that, but, we're trying to take care of what we got, tender on knitting, as Hooker says. and, but be helpful where we can. Sure. And, so again, to our staff, kudos, everybody did a great, wonderful job. Billing rate, you remember when we passed that a year ago? Well, it's starting to come in fashion, so gear up. Here it comes. And then update on clean and lean with the
Alex.
retirement of the PPDR. Then we still have a lot of properties that we haven't been able to get anything done. So we'll be looking at the clean and lean.
And Mayor, one additional item will be Denise Staub, and it will be giving an update on the book. They received some books, book donation, and also Stephanie Long will also be assisting her with that, so.
What it is some families here, Lord have mercy.
It was you texted me that information.
I've got all their information. They did, some first edition books were donated and some others that are supposedly highly sought after. John Petty is part of is the name of one of the families.
Is it Bonnell?
Bonnell's.
Yeah, Glenda Shook Bonnell.
Mm-hmm. And Ted and Glenda, I don't know what their last name. Anyway, a big bunch of these folks that these are some pretty. It comes from Robert O. Anderson's collection at one time. So anyway, they've donated to the village, and some of them they're going to put in the library, and then put some under in the library under glass, some at the Wingfield Museum. But some of them, a big portion, they want them to make sure that they're available to be checked out. So anyway, we're just showing appreciation for accepting those.
Yeah, that's nice.
We'll have reports from municipal officials. So just whatever you guys want to talk about. And then we'll go into regular items. Anybody else have anything they want to hear from Ron?
No, but I'll
Are we
tell you
gonna
one.
have a closed session?
Yes, we'll have one. I don't know if we have a whole lot, but we'll still go ahead and put it on the closed session on there, so if we do have something come up.
I wanted to say that Tom got on to see how much water we're using on his phone. So now, every week, why are we using, I'm like, oh my gosh,
On the Island Water?
yes. Like, oh my gosh.
She's putting it
Yeah.
on the big.
So, okay, and yes, it is against the ordinance, the law, to water your front yard or any of your yard. So we still have a lot of folks that are doing it, and they don't have water wells. So if you're getting calls like me, if I know the individual and they should know better, first thing they're gonna say is, well, I want a green to be green and I can afford it. It does not matter if you can afford it.
Sure.
Okay? And so we'll send code enforcement over to talk to them.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why some people do that. So, but just remind you that it is not legal, smoking outdoors. We talk about it pretty regular. Still no fires. All of that is still there.
Pits.
And we are, hopefully someday, we'll get a return on the FOIA. The last FOIA that was sent off took a year.
Was it 1 year or 2 years? Well,
It was a year, I think.
it was a while, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a Zoom. And then I think probably next month, yeah, we'll get Jeannie to give us an update. I'm just warning her because she'll freak out on what everybody's getting ready for the New Mexico Municipal League.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they're working hard on that, getting everything set up.
And just a reminder, I had reminded Matthew, but Jody Lacewell had called me again on the council for Reynosa Downs, and she even said our council, we're wanting to help in any way we can, so we don't want to forget them.
Okay, anything else? All righty. Well, thank you. That concludes. This meeting's adjourned.